Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to jump on here, do a little midweek video. Got a little spare time in the shop today, and we're going to jump back on the Indian Larry Panhead tribute build and doing something kind of cool today. We're working on the hand shifter. Threw up a short yesterday or the day before, machining some hex bar to accept the shifter handle, and now we are getting ready to get it twisted. So we're going to go back to the lathe. We got our oxyacetylene torch, and we're going to do some twisting on this hex bar, and I thought this might be something people would enjoy seeing, so I'm going to hop out there and make some fire.
Alright, so we're out at the lathe here, getting the torch fired up. As you can see, I get the hex held in the chuck, and then I also hold it in our tailstock. I don't actually use the power on the lathe, just use it to hold the piece straight. I find that when you're doing this twisting, you don't have it held on both ends, it's real easy to get it, real S-curve in it as you start to do your twists. And I like to hold it nice and straight so that then if we do decide to put a radius in it or whatever, you can get a nice even bend. So I like to heat up one little section at a time. This particular one, we are not going to reverse the twist. We're just going to go single twist on it. But I do about a 1/2 inch to 1 inch section at a time. And then just as I get it to the temperature, I start to twist it around. Then I'll move down to the next spot and let that spot cool, get the next spot hot, and just continue to twist. I don't like doing a real heavy twist. It starts to kind of look a little funky if you get too much twist going in there. Also, you want to watch, you don't want to overheat your material because it'll start to bubble and you'll just get a real terrible surface finish. This is stainless steel hex, 303 stainless, which will be getting polished for the finished product. So we want to try and keep the surface as nice as possible. And just nice even heat. You can see me switching back and forth from top to bottom and getting our twist done. So once we get it down to the end, we go ahead and let everything cool. I'll go back across the whole thing and just kind of get one more nice little low even heat to even it out if I see anywhere where I didn't like my twist uniformity. But it's not a real hard thing to do. You can do it without a lathe and a vise if you have a torch and use a couple wrenches, but you can see here I was going back and reheating right at the end. I had a twist that looked a little loose and I didn't like it. So once we do that, we let it kind of cool off. You can see the end where we machine down for our shifter handle. This is going to be our hand shift lever. So we head over to the sink, get a little steam facial, get this thing cooled down so we can handle it, and then I take it over to the wire wheel on the grinder and just try and get all that scale off so we can check it out. In case we want to make any adjustments, we can always put it back in the lathe and dial in any twists that we don't like, tightening them up. It's really hard to untwist it. You can always twist a little more if you have a section that you don't like or that you feel looks out of place. You can see as I spin it on here, it keeps it pretty straight. Doing it this way help in the tailstock and the chuck, so that's how we like to do it. And once we get this all cleaned up, we are going to head over to the vise. This particular handle, we want to put a nice radius in so that it curves kind of away from the gas tank. So we get it in the vise here and fire our torch back up. This time we want to get the whole entire part heated nice and even. I want to put a nice soft radius in it. I don't want to put a kink. I don't want it to bend in one specific spot. So we're going to, just work our torch back and forth up the entire length. This part's about 9 inches long, maybe 10 inches, just for reference. So we want to get this whole entire thing nice, glowing, almost orange, almost yellow. You can bend it colder, obviously, but the hotter you get it, the easier it's going to bend. And the more evenly hot you get it, the more uniform your radius will be, which is what we're shooting for. So we'll just take a crescent wrench round end and use it to kind of lever it over. Again, this isn't really anything exact. I'm just kind of looking at it by eye and bending it to what I like the look of. Once we do that, we're going to just let this thing cool down in the vise, and then we'll pop it over and head over the bike and check out how we got our fitment. So we're over at the bike. We got our pivot point already machined up and installed. Showed this in a previous video. It's part of our top motor mount, so just gonna hold this up here, make a couple quick marks on our pivot point, and then we'll pop it off, take it over to the welding table, and get a couple tacks on here. So this, if you don't remember, it's got a pivot point. We got a needle bearing in it. It's held on with a shoulder bolt, a couple aluminum thrust washers. We want this shifter to be real nice and smooth, so we went with the bearing instead of a bushing. And now we got it tacked on our pivot point, so we're going to slide our needle bearing. It's held on by a shoulder bolt, again with a couple of aluminum thrust washers, you can see here. We're going to go ahead and slide this on and kind of take a look at what we got, make sure we like it, and then we'll be moving on to the next part, which is going to be our shift link rod. Going to make this also out of some twisted hex, I believe probably 1/2 inch, make it a little thinner with some heim joint ends. And just, you know, that'll give us a little bit of a uniform feel. We are going to have twisted front legs on our Springer front end. One of these days we'll get back to finishing making that. We were working on our stainless bridge, and we still got to make up the legs and all that. So
What do you say now?
slowly but surely we're making our way through all the pieces on this bike. Lots of little details that you know, take a lot of time to make all these little custom one-off parts.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Just wanted to get that handle twisted up and installed on the bike. Really loving the way it looks. Getting all these details done on this bike is really enjoyable, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Midweek, quick video, getting it done. And we hope to see you next time at Gatti's Garage.